Velux ad.
Hey everyone, welcome to That Battle Show Viewers, Comments and Questions Live. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So we are having internet issues, so if it goes wrong, we're sorry, and we'll try again next time. But yeah, we are having internet issues, so hopefully things will be okay.
We had a massive storm a couple of weeks back.
Well, you're massive by UK standards. I think...
My garden furniture went everywhere.
Yeah, Haiti's probably seen a storm or two bigger, but yeah. Nice, a bit bright now.
Better?
I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, we haven't turned Super Chat on because we just want to make sure that everything's going to be okay before we do that. So maybe we'll just do a few minutes of in the regular comments section, which would be nice, won't it?
Lovely.
Yeah, and we weren't here last week because of internet problems. Our internet service provider has obviously had a mare of a time. Not as much of a
bad day.
Yeah, not as much of a mare as other people in the world are having right now.
Heavens.
I've noticed on the pre-chat that there's some talk about people being disappointed if we don't mention Ukraine. Well, of course, we should mention Ukraine and the horrors that people are facing there. So our hearts go out to anyone in any war zone whose lives are being turned upside down.
Yeah.
By horrific actions of idiocy.
Indeed.
It's hard, isn't it? Everyone's feeling very glum about it. But what do you do? What's your choice? You carry on.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, we do.
As best we can.
Yeah. But it is, of course, it's going to be on everyone's minds. And, rightfully so. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it does make, chatting about guitar effects seem a little surplus to requirements. But what do? You get on, don't you?
You
get on.
Do.
So, yeah. I think we might already be off, so let's see. The yellow bar would suggest we're already off, but anyway. Okay. Hello, Marcus. Reeves Electro.
Oh, hey, mate.
Yeah, nice to hear from you. Who else have we got on tonight? We've got Burnt Gerbil.
Of course we do.
Good morning, amigos.
How did it get burnt?
Says BE. Nina Head DJ. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Ah, get up. Get on up. Yeah, there you go. Non-aligned. Buffering means no super chat. Makes sense. Yeah, kind of. I just don't think it's going to work today. Greetings from New Jersey, USA, says Ridiculous Wonk. Is that like this?
He's on the wonk.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, says Papaw. Who else we got then? Thoughts on Sir Guitar, says Sigrid Sigerson. Yeah, nice. Loads of people play them, aren't there? Too modern for me, but loads of people really love them. Not least really awesome players such as, we'll just list their flipping user list. It's endless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Greetings and salutations from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, hit recording capital of the world, says Frankie Holt. Hello, Frankie. Ben Lyon says, you guys are very Fender heavy on your guitar ownership. Do you own any Strat or Tele copies? What are some of your favourites? I don't. I'm sort of morally opposed to them. Dan's got a couple.
Yeah.
Not morally opposed. I just do. I love Fender. It means so much to me in my heart. I don't want to play other guitar brands. Really.
Yeah. So I've got. What have I got? I've got
a Carl Longbottoms.
I've got a Carl Longbottom, and it was a really lovely guitar. But I thought, okay, well, I've got my Teles that are just amazing. So let's do something different with this guitar.
Yeah.
So I put a Strat bridge on it and a couple of wide range humbuckers, and it's really cool.
Yeah. I think that's it. There's a couple of things that would sort of change it for me. One is that, i.e. it does a very specific job. Two is you have a personal relationship with somebody which elevates it to something that has more meaning for you. And
Indeed.
I think that the older I get, the more I realise that the meaning of the instrument and the person that's made it and what your relationship with them is like is really valuable, actually.
Very valuable. Very valuable.
That's why brands are brands, right? What a coincidence. I also have a giant A on the back of my telly, says DWC.
Very good.
I guess we should keep an eye on phones in case BV will be telling us that it's not working. Do not disturb. Hello from Richmond, Virginia, says Andrew Height. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
Cheers from Rochester, New York, says Patrick Glantz. Hello, Patrick. Need this today, says Kansas Anthony or Anthony.
We're still on. We're still going.
Great.
Yeah.
He says funny, says Kansas Anthony or Anthony. Funny, the super chat I had intended to ask today I found in a VCQ from February 2020.
Very good.
Weird to watch the shows when COVID first hit 2 years later and I'm still socially isolating. Oh man, sorry to hear that. It's easing up somewhat here. In fact, it's easing up in a big way.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful for that. Not to say that the dreaded virus has gone away, but the threat has lessened a bit.
Indeed.
For most people, we should add that caveat. Justin Baylog, howdy gents. I'm going to miss you today, but I just want to say howdy from Colorado and let you know how much I appreciate all you do.
Oh, bless you. Thanks, you,
Justin. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention John Elliott. He says he's been injured after a bike accident, and he's got his first gig back next Saturday. It's been months, and he's had COVID too, so he's raring to go. I think you echo the sentiments of a lot of people there, Joe. Not just John. Sorry, not that we've all had bike accidents, but that whole kind of
getting back into it.
Things are starting to ease off a little bit for a lot of people, and able to get out among it again, and it is a really big deal.
Mick did a gig last night that I went down to, and it was awesome. Mick was on fire.
Well, I say it was a gig. I was lucky enough to guest at my friend's gig. Bev's slight buffering, but going okay. Thank you, BV.
Thank you, BV.
As always, indeed. Massive thanks to BV Ninja for moderating in the chat there. So good. Oh yeah, here's the Ukraine chat that came up. Edward Johns and Duncan Plexico were having a conversation about for said gig. I'd put a G-Town amps pedal on my board, which is made in Russia.
Oh, okay.
And so there's some chat about whether I should reconsider my choices because it's made in Russia and Russia's aggression towards Ukraine and all of that. I did take it off my board, but as it goes, it was nothing to do with that. I was playing with other stuff. I think it's very sad that ordinary people, as with all war, get caught up in the politics of politicians, because it is the people on the ground, whether you are Russian or whether you are Ukrainian or whether you are wherever you're from in these conflicts, it's those people that get hit the hardest. And yeah, I guess the varying nations of NATO and the whatever those group of countries are called are doing the economic sanctions and all of that. If that dribbles down to us, I don't know, maybe it should. I didn't take it off because of that. I took it off because I wanted to put a Free the Tone pedal on. But again, conflating it all to pedal chat just seems so ridiculously pointless at this point. Reiterate what we said before. Anyone in any war zone, of course, is horrific, and our blooming hearts go out to you and everyone else who is affected by the idiocy of power-hungry arseholes.
Indeed.
Maybe we can leave it there on
There's
that
gotta
topic, because it can just never end.
No. There's got to be a better way to do it than one guy saying, you know what, I'm in a bad mood today. Let's go. It's like, come on. There's got to be a better way.
Just don't get it.
No.
Just
anyway.
don't get it. But then, the politics of nationalism and empire building, the United Kingdom, or England especially, has a horrific history of colonialisation and brutalising the whole world. So, we've got to remember our past and
not repeat it.
Yeah, and try not to repeat it. Yeah, with any luck.
Stanislav Mogra says, any footage from the gig? Yes, I filmed I filmed Mick last night, so
There's a bit of iPhone footage.
yeah, there'll be it'll be in a upcoming vlog.
Yeah, it will. There's not like a video of the show or anything. To be honest, for everyone who's asking, Kansas Anthony, you said, how did the gig go? And it looks like the new Strat is growing on you. What are your thoughts on it? Are you becoming one with it? The gig was cool, actually.
It was very cool.
It was a big band. It was a 10-piece band, and there was.
You were on fire.
They were. Everyone was minimally rehearsed, and the sound check was a bit fraught because they had some technical problems and all of that. And insert usual excuses here, but our friend Neville, who I've known Nev for 25 years now, and we worked together for many, many years. And he's gone, I'm going to make an album, and I'm going to put it out, and I'm going to do a massive gig. And his friend Adrian did the same thing, so it's kind of a joint thing. And regardless of anything else, just the balls to do it,
yeah, it was
and
great.
Pull it off and do it.
And loads of people turned
in
up.
a lovely big venue.
It was at the Comedia in Bath, and which gave Mick and myself some thoughts for what we're going to do with our lives thing in the future. Beautiful venue. Yeah, really great.
So yeah, congrats to them for doing that, and it was a great honour to be asked to play, and it was cool. We made some noise, and it was brilliant. Strat, I'm definitely becoming at one with it, and funnily enough,
I'll just say, you played your buttocks off last night,
mate.
and thought you sounded great, and you sung great as well.
Thank you.
It's really good. Really,
it's
really
always
impressive.
the thing, innit? You sort of, I came on 2 songs towards the end of the show, and it's quite hard when you haven't had any. The gig has a. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying the gig has a cadence, and the band has a cadence, and a sort of where everyone.
Yeah, but you
gets
came
to
on
the
and
groove.
things lifted. I found it inspiring, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Watching you play last night.
Well, I'll tell you what
really
it did
good.
for me. Regardless of all the rest of it, I've got to mention Jim, the pedal steel player, is just
It was so good.
A, the nicest bloke in the world. B, oh my God. When you think about how complex a pedal steel is, that guy did not put a note wrong all night.
Right. It's like trying to play accordion with your knees.
And juggle and
all that stuff.
Make a sandwich, yeah. And got to mention him, Neil the drummer, John the bass player, Rich on guitar, backing singers, main vocalist, Aidan Nev, and another Richard playing saxophone and percussion. Saxophone, yeah. And it was ace. It was really ace. I really enjoyed it. But
there was 11 people on stage last night.
The thing, it's like a fluid Parliament gig, isn't it? The thing that I've enjoyed about it more than anything is that single, even though it was only encore 3 songs, the process of doing it and learning the tunes and getting on stage and playing has completely reinvigorated the interest in why we turn up every day and do this.
Wonderful.
And just reminds a lot of the really basic stuff. Like, you'll see it in the upcoming vlog. Tearing my hair out about pickups and pedals, just worrying about all the wrong things. But it's not until you get to the show and let go and just sort of the relationship between detail and context is fixed. Because what we do here week in, week out is detail, and there's no context.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden, that relationship is in better harmony. And it's very inspiring. And it's very inspiring whether it is a show with a nice PA and a decent audience, or whether it's playing acoustic guitar in a pub to 3 people, it's the same thing. And I feel reinvigorated.
Good.
The Strat, the whole point of that long tangent was going through that process with the Strat. I've now put 3 different sets of pickups in it. And I've landed on the most vintage ones I own.
Wow.
Pretty much. And for the time being, I've got 1 more set to try. And say this as carefully as possible, it doesn't matter. Because they all sounded good.
They did.
But the fact is, the ones that are in there are the ones that have enabled my brain to go click.
Okay.
And I tell you what, getting away from that neck now is going to be
tough.
Really tough, because I picked Blue up to do some comparisons between pickups.
And I was like,
And it's
no
like,
thanks.
oh
Yeah.
dear.
That and I've said this before. It's the best neck on any Strat I've ever played.
It's
It's
killer, and
astonishing.
I'm just it just feels like home. Tell you what is weird about it. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking about it in a sec. You said this, or it might have been you, or it might have been Johnny, when the acoustic was coming together. Dan recently had an acoustic guitar made by a guy in Bristol called Johnny Kincaid, and I think it was Johnny that said it's now realising what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no,
Or you said that.
I said that. So after like having the guitar for a week,
Yeah.
and the wood was sort of, after playing it, it felt to me like at that point the wood was just starting to realise it was a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, it was the easiest way to say it. And then, I mean, I'm doing another video on that guitar like 3 months on, so another month to go, about what's changed. So go back to Johnny, we'll have a look at it, make sure he's happy with it. And then I'll come back in and play it for a bit and go through what's changed with the guitar. But something fundamentally happens when you put resonance into it.
Yeah, that it becomes...
It's something... It's like the wood just sort of goes, oh, okay, I'm doing this now.
I'm a guitar.
Yeah.
I think that makes logical sense for something like wood that's been stressed into position.
Apparently we're buffering again. Stay
Brilliant.
on target, stay on target.
Come on. Oh yeah, we're buffering at 62%, look down. I think it makes sense for something like an acoustic guitar, which is, made from scratch, from electric guitar, which is planks of wood bolted together.
Yeah.
Slightly harder to understand, but there was no doubt in my mind whatsoever that I fought like hell with the guitar to begin with.
Right. Interesting.
And then I don't know what happened. The next day it was like it wouldn't go out of tune. And I couldn't play it out of tune.
That's fantastic.
And it was just... I had 3 pedals on my board last night. This will make you laugh.
Yeah. So, got to remember the pedals that Mick chose originally. That's what he went to the gig with. Fantastic.
I think I use that quite a bit, the overdrive.
Yep.
I didn't touch the tuner all night.
Oh, wow.
I literally just tweaked the guitar up before I went on. Didn't need to use that, and I used that in the second song.
Right.
Oh, actually, I used it in the rock and roll song at the end, which you didn't hear, but I used it for a slapback.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, I'm your guitar now.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm much happier with it. I'm also much happier with the pickups, even though the Texas Special sounded good.
Yeah.
The vintage year ones are just... I wonder if it's less about sound and more about response.
Right.
Where it feeds back, how it resonates when the chords ring out, all that stuff. So it's not about like that, it's about that.
It's so funny describing sound. I remember being at a sound check when I was touring in Sydney, and touring with Max. We went through a lot of foldback guys.
Yeah, right.
And we would get to sound check an hour before we were told to get to sound check. We'd get there, we'd sound check everything before Max would get there, and then we'd come off stage, and then Max would get there with the microphone, and she'd be doing a foldback, and I'll never forget, one day she goes, doesn't sound right. Foldback guy says, what do you need? She goes, I need it to do this. The sound guy's going, okay, where's that button?
So,
funny, she knew exactly what she wanted, but trying to relay that, express that, can be really tricky.
It's hard for a singer too, isn't it? Because it's so important. Last night, Rich, the sax player, he's done loads and loads of stuff.
He was very good.
Westlife was one of his big gigs.
Right.
And he's doing his sound check. He's got all the percussion and those
chimes.
Oh, we so got to get some of those. Is that what they're called? Chimes?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, he's doing he's like sound, the sax. The EQ on the sax was pretty weird through the monitors. He's like, can we do anything about that? And the monitor guy, the sound guy's like, no, don't think so. He said, fine, can you hear it up front? So yeah, he said, good, that's good enough for me. Next. It's like, it's all that stuff, isn't it? We all think it's a perfect world of perfect performance and everything being right, and most of the time it's 80% of it being wrong and having fun with the remaining 20%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is Bev telling us we're off the air probably.
Devil's Boxcar says, chill. The buffering works well with my brain speed.
Bev says it is watchable. No, he says the buffering is intermittent, coming and going. Yeah, we think that's what's going on with the internet. So gets worse and better. Okay, right. Well, maybe we'll just do a short show tonight.
How does buffering work? If we go last week,
I haven't done Wordle for days.
They're explaining how Wi-Fi works.
Yeah.
Okay.
About gigahertz and all that, and they were explaining it in real layperson's terms, and it was fascinating.
It's very jazzy. So I've ordered.
I think we're going to have to give up, mate. Oh, it's going down. Look at that. It's going down.
Because I'm playing jazz and everyone is
turning off. They've gone for the P. It's the jazz number.
Yep, here we go.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to struggle through till 6 o'clock. Unless it absolutely crashes, we'll struggle through till 6 o'clock. So let's get on to some questions now.
Okay, all right.
So this is from, thanks BV for forwarding this. This is from Nostra de Weezus. Nostra de Weezus. Great show, gents. I'm currently painstakingly chasing down a cause of new loud clicking last night, despite isolated power and it being previously quiet. Grrr. He says it's slow work. It feels like power. Could it be interference? What else could it be? I actually think I know what it is.
Go on then.
Static.
Okay.
Depends what kind of clicking it is. So if it's a clicking, if you're not touching the guitar and there's a clicking happening,
right,
that's got to be power, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So you can be getting, if you're getting a bunch of stuff. I've had this before where I can hear it and it's like, what's going on? And in certain rooms I've got a fan in the back of my amp. Sometimes you can hear it and sometimes you can't. It also
do you
depends.
keep them in there all the time, or do they just
no there's like a PC fan on the circuit board.
What's his name?
He's a tiny little fan. And yeah, sometimes I can hear it, sometimes I can't. So it also depends on if your amp is really sensitive and is picking up noise from ground, from earth. Things like... One thing that's really important to do, if you're getting that noise, turn off the lights and just see if it goes away. So,
take all your clothes off.
You try that as well. It might help. The other thing is, and I've done this before because I'm a bit of an idiot. I've been thinking, oh no, but sat at my board going, where's that noise coming from? You know, freaking out. I turn around on my phone, set on my amp.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, take the phone away.
You should. So Dan said something very important there. He said,
did I?
That the clicking was of a specific type, so repeating, so like a click, 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 click. That would say either something mechanical or it would be a power issue because one of your pedals is picking up a bit of digital noise off something else.
Yeah,
that's pretty common, and that you should be able to hear that because it's consistent and it's uniform. What I actually think it is if it's intermittent and it is involved with you touching the guitar, it could be static. Now, if we triangulate that and then say, have you had a period of unusually dry weather or low humidity? Static's much worse in low humidity, where Simon had it on his Gold Top. Simon bought a brand new 54 style Gold Top, and it just was having this horrific static problem with it, where obviously the static was discharging and making a click, and it's pretty loud. And I had it on my Gretsch too. There's a couple of ways you can solve it. One, genuinely, this is not a joke. The sheets that you put in your tumble dryer when you're tumble drying clothes, if you're one of those planet wreckers who has a tumble dryer, I have a tumble dryer. You wipe that on the guitar and that discharges the static. And if that works, you know it's a static problem. And he went through everything trying to cure that guitar of its static problem. And he said eventually it just went away. So it might be that. It might be that. Go through your board and your power supply. You said you've got isolated power supply, but not all isolated power supply is isolated power supply. And you don't just happen to have a separate pedal somewhere else that's not isolated, do you? Or you've got something at the beginning which isn't isolated. I mean, if it's on a battery, it should be isolated. But
yeah, a few people saying clock noise. If the power is properly isolated, then the clock noise shouldn't get through. If it's breaking through on the audio, then there's something wrong with the pedal.
Yeah.
But if it's stumping all that to ground, if you got properly isolated power, it should sort that out. It's like the biggest thing for me is lighting.
Yeah. So if somebody's turning something off on somewhere, well, I had it before where a fridge clicks on and off, and that causes a pop in the mains.
Yeah. So you're getting a shifting of potential in the earth.
My potential shifted a long time ago, mate.
But basically it causes a ripple, causes an AC, like a change in that potential. So one thing that I found really helpful is, if your pedal board and your amps and everything, make sure they're not plugged into different ring mains. Make sure you get everything together on the same four-way and plug it into one earth thing. Just sort of helps, getting everything together like that. I found, can be good.
It's boring process of elimination is what it is.
Indeed. Good luck.
Good luck, yeah. Christopher Vad, let's mention Christopher. He says he broke his wrist 4 weeks ago and had surgery on it. Wow, 3.5 weeks ago. My fretting hand, so no guitar for a month and maybe another month or two to go. So looking at that jazz box hurts a little. Oh, mate, we wish you speedy recovery with all of that.
Yeah.
That's scary, I would imagine, when you go through that kind of thing.
Yep.
Good on you, Christopher. Hopefully you'll be back fretting soon enough.
It's important, if you're injured, it's important to rest. I've gone back to trying to do stuff before I was properly healed, and it only delays the process. So make sure that you do what the doctor tells you, rest, stretch, whatever the doctor says, but, just take it easy.
Yeah. Gary Mosley. Hi, Gary.
Hey,
nice, lovely to play. And it was nice to play on a big stage with a decent PA as well. And 3 guitarists on stage, each of whom had a fairly reasonable valve amp. Not one moan from the sound engineer.
You couldn't hear
None of us were crazy loud, but
no,
it
sounded great.
Yeah,
it sounded great at the front.
Yeah, nice. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Dave Johnson. And to you, John Channing, as well. Same answer I just gave Gary a gig. Thank you for asking.
One thing that if you're in a really dry area, charge on the guitar during the clear coat process, but it does go away.
That's really interesting.
Fascinating.
I know Taylor used electrostatic in their finishing, because what it does is if you finish on the guitar, it draws the finish to the guitar,
right,
and it wastes less finish, and it's good for emissions and all that, apparently.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah. That is fascinating. I tell you what is interesting. So Simon was on to Gibson trying to solve the problem, and they came back with a flat nothing. a polite flat nothing.
Seriously?
Like, we have literally no idea what the problem is. And I thought, that is utter cobblers. You know exactly what the problem is.
Yep.
And if you don't, that's not very good. So I wonder if that's true.
Buffering again.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. Todd Roy says, Mick and Dan. Todd Roy, Mick and Dan. I'm losing major volume when I roll back the tone on either the bridge or the neck pickups on my telly. Why would this be? So he loses volume when he rolls back the tone.
It might be that the capacitor you're using is simply too large.
Yeah.
And simply too many frequencies, too many frequencies being directed to ground.
Too much frequentizations.
Too much perfect. So it might be that you simply need to reduce the value of the capacitor so that you're not rolling off as many frequencies. Yeah, that would be a good answer, I believe.
You can do this. Traffic EQ pedal. Excessive brightness. Right, on this sheet of paper, which you can't exposed, in the same. And we've got plus 12 dB, and here we've got. You lose all that.
You do.
So it gets quieter.
Yeah. So it might be that your tone capacitor sits back here.
Yeah.
And is losing everything from the mids down. So what you perceive as being quieter, all the lower end frequencies are at the same volume, but this is just quieter. And it might be that you need to move that point up here.
And the point about that is, I appreciate you can't see this diagram. Here is 50 hertz, let's say, rumble. And here is hertz, which is.
Thank you, Paul Matilda.
Yeah. So here, on this side of the paper, here is 50 rumble. And on this side of the paper is 20 kilohertz air, right? What happens is, the smaller the number of your capacitor, the more the line moves that way. Yes. In terms of the roll-off. So if you've got a 0.1 microfarad, I always get me micros and me picos mixed up. If you've got a 0.1 capacitor, it's going to roll off everything from here. If you've got a 0.0022, it's going to roll it off up here. So exactly what he just said. Use a smaller capacitor and see if that helps. Yeah. Of course, depending on what kind of telly it is, it may well have 047 or something in it.
Yeah, right.
Might even
have a 1.
0.01,
Yeah. Best of luck.
Yes. Good luck.
Jeff ROQ says that volume drop on the tone pot also happens with 50s wiring as well. Yeah, interesting. That's something I have a look at in the when I do this guitar on the show, the 50s wiring thing. Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Rob Brewer says, I missed the diagram. Yeah, sorry, Rob, you couldn't see it. It was overexposed. It was 0 dB in the middle, plus 12, minus